if you're in the process or you've gone through a divorce in the Brown County, Wisconsin area, this episode's for you. We've got Chris Fisher from My Credit Guy, who we're going to talk about some of the big mistakes people do and also some tips you can do if you're going through the process ahead of time to make sure you're not making some big mistakes. Chris, I'm excited to have you on, and I'm excited to get your expertise on people going through the divorce process and how it relates to their credit report.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much for having me, Greg. Divorce and credit, right? It is a common topic. Around 50% of marriages end in divorce. A lot of the times, what I have to tell everybody when they come through my front door and they're saying, hey, we're going through a divorce, I'm wondering how it's going to impact my credit, I tell everybody, the divorce decree does not supersede a pre-existing contract. All that means is if you went into a joint contract with your ex-spouse before your divorce was finalized, which all of these accounts on your credit report, you did, your mortgage, your auto loan, all that good stuff, you both are legally liable for that account. Even if the other was awarded the house, awarded the cabin, awarded the car loan, if you guys are still legally responsible on there as a co-signer, you are legally liable, and you are going to see it hurt your credit if they start to do some things out of spite, right? I see it all the time, Greg, where an ex-spouse, they were awarded the house, they're not looking to use their credit anymore or anything like that. They might add a 30-day late on the mortgage, so that way when their ex-husband or ex-wife is looking to go get another house, they can't get it because they just ruined their credit, right? It's super sad when this happens, because like you said, there are certain people that can work together and everything like that, and work together to make sure that the situation is best for them in the long run. But what you have to do before this happens and before your divorce is finalized is you have to get refinanced off of that debt in order to no longer be legally liable. So if you're on the mortgage, you have to go and get legally, like I said, refinanced off that debt. The problem that I see a lot of the times, and sometimes this isn't the case, you won't be able to unless you have another party that comes in and co-signs on your ex-spouse. Just because when you go into a mortgage or sometimes an auto loan, depending on how big it is, right? Mainly mortgages, you run both credits, so that way both of your guys' income is on that mortgage note. When you take half of that income away, the creditor's not just going to be like, oh yeah, no worries, we're just going to let this one slide. It doesn't work like that. So you usually have to find another co-signer that can actually step in and actually help your ex-spouse out.
Would you recommend that somebody, if they're going through the divorce process, they're at the beginning stages, would you recommend them getting like a tri-merge credit report where they get copies of all of the three bureaus, so that they can really almost, if there's amicable scenarios where they could work through and say, and obviously you can work with their attorneys too, or there's some people that do pro se, there's a lot of opportunities for that too. But would you say that that's a good strategy? And then probably continually to monitor that credit score to see.
I was going to say, yeah, exactly, right? So it's not just that initial pull that you're going to want to have happen, because it might happen on that first month, but a lot of the times I see it happen 6-8 months down the road where a spouse, like I said, they start to, oh, I forgot about that payment. It's like, no, you didn't, right? But yeah, you need to always be monitoring your credit, whether you're going through a divorce or not. You should be monitoring your credit, so that way you can see if there's any fraudulent activity or anything like that. But especially with the divorce, keep a very, very close eye on it. So that way, if your spouse does, like I said, start doing stuff out of spite, you know about it, you can address it right away before it goes to like a charge-off status or like a repossession status, because then it goes up it's called the manner of payment scale, right? It's how every single account is rated on the scoring algorithm, and it just starts getting worse and worse as you progress from a 30-day late all the way up to a charge-off. So you want to catch it as soon as possible, and credit monitoring is a great way to do that.
And if somebody was going through a divorce, I know there's an option where they can almost reach out to the credit bureaus and put a lock on their personal credit, correct? Is that something that you advise maybe when, if you've got
as long as you're not looking to use your credit in any short time frame, right? If you are good on your credit, you can even do things like put a security freeze on there, / like you said, like a lock, just to make sure that especially if someone is trying to do anything that's malicious, right? Like that's the reason that they have those locks and security freezes on there, so that way if someone's trying to do malicious activity behind your back.
Yeah, so Chris, I'm stoked that you're able to actually give us some good tangible advice. But I think there's some people that are probably overwhelmed, maybe depressed, maybe they've been through the divorce and they've got a situation where their credit is complete shambles. And obviously, My Credit Guy Restoration is, the company that we recommend to take on this type of challenge, so that not all is lost, right? If somebody has a situation where their ex was horrible and did a lot of these things that we just talked about and destroyed their credit, like you're here to help them rebuild, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, right? So I can help anybody that's willing to, like I said, meet me about 25% of the way there. I can help usually anybody that's ready to kind of hit this head on. I know a lot of people, they do get discouraged when their credit goes from a 720 down to a 540, just based on some late payments or some collections and stuff like that. But I'm here to help. We're here to get our hands dirty. We do everything from the cleanup process to helping out with settlements and pay for deletions. And we do all the dirty work for the borrower. So that way they're not the ones, chatting with the collection companies or sending out the dispute letters according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act or the violations that those creditors might be in. That's what we do, and that we take pride in it, just because we get to help these people that, they do feel kind of broken when they come to us, but when they get back out on the end and they get that home loan, everybody's all happy at that point. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we help with, man.
Yeah, one of the biggest reasons I feel really comfortable is how you refer to your reps on your company is your coaches.
Yep.
Like you're coaching. Like this is, and like you said, you do need some effort. So if you're watching this video right now and you're one of those procrastinators who doesn't do what you're asked to do, this may not be a good fit for you. But if you're somebody that really wants to truly improve your credit score so you can purchase a home again in the Green Bay and surrounding areas, you got to reach out to Chris Fisher. I'm going to have his information below and you can set up a meeting with him. Chris, I appreciate you talking about divorces today and how to, really prevent some big things from happening that could impact you negatively with your credit report.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Greg.
You're welcome.